Ottawa Now with Kristy Cameron.
These controversial changes get a little bit more controversial in that I was reading this morning that the Ford government also wants to ban lawsuits against the province if cyclists are then hurt or killed on those stretches of road where the bike lanes have been removed. And the transportation minister has told cyclists, for your own safety, stay off some of these roads in Toronto, like Bloor, Yonge, and University, when the bike lanes are removed. Can you do that? Legally speaking, can the province actually say, don't go on these roads, and if you do, we have no responsibility? Well, let's ask a personal injury lawyer. I've got Brenda Hollingsworth at OJ Hollingsworth Accident and Injury Lawyers here in the capital. Hi, Brenda. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks a lot for having me.
Legally speaking, can the province do that?
Well, a typical lawyer answer, it depends. But certainly the province can enact legislation, enact laws that prevent us from suing them. We saw that a couple of years ago when they put strict restrictions on when you could sue if somebody slipped and fell on property. That it is definitely within the jurisdiction of the province to do that.
Interesting. And so when you look at some of those stretches of road in Toronto, obviously I'm not down there and neither are you, given the risky nature of the road, the fact that if there is no bike lane and there's a lot of traffic, the high volume of vehicles, would that contribute?
Well, it definitely could, but ultimately the Highway Traffic Act puts the onus on drivers to be aware of cyclists. Normally, when you are in an accident, the person who's claiming to have been injured has the burden of proof to prove that the other person was negligent. But when it's a car versus cyclist, the car actually has to prove that or the driver has to prove that he or she wasn't negligent. So we do have laws in place that do protect cyclists, and those will remain. And of course, all drivers in Ontario have liability insurance. So there is still funds available in the event that somebody is seriously injured on a bicycle.
Have you ever heard of this before, Brenda, where a government is trying to insulate itself to sort of seal itself off from any potential legal action in the case of a lane of traffic for cars or trucks or even cyclists?
Yeah, nothing like this. No, there was some talk about it around long-term care homes. You'll remember after COVID, the provincial government was talking about shielding itself from lawsuits, but nothing at all relating to transportation, not in my awareness, and I've been doing this a long time.
Right. Okay. And you said as a typical lawyer, it depends. You were kind of cracking a joke at your own expense earlier. So I'll ask you another tough question. Do you think that there's going to be a legal challenge to this?
Well, it would have to be in the right fact scenario where, somebody was really convinced that the removal of the bike lanes caused or contributed to the problems. Even before this legislation, it's really hard to sue a province for something that's a policy decision. So if the province does something, like let's say snow removal, they have a policy to do snow removal and they do it badly, you can sue them for doing it badly because that's an operational thing that they did badly. But policies are really hard to sue on. And what our Constitution provides is that if you don't like a government's policies, it's at the ballot box that you demand change. So it's not easy to sue for change. I'm not saying nobody's going to do it. I'm sure people will do it. But it's a difficult way to affect change when something is a policy decision.